42 will forever live in the rafters of Foster Pavilion. Thank you, Brittney. It's long overdue. This is Locked On Baylor.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for joining a live edition of Locked On Baylor. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. We will talk about this in tomorrow's show. It's a segment in tomorrow's show, but I had already recorded an interview, so it's just a segment at the end. So I wanted the time that was necessary to talk about this breaking news. Baylor just announced this afternoon, just a couple minutes ago, really, that on February 18th, prior to the women's basketball game against Texas Tech, the program will be retiring Brittney Griner's number 42 jersey, and it will forever reign in the Foster Pavilion rafters. And y'all, this is so overdue. That doesn't take away from how great this announcement is, but it's about time. It's about time. Like if you're going to retire any two numbers in the history of Baylor sports, one for the men, one for the women, it's 42 for Brittney Griner and 10 for Robert Griffin, and we don't need anything else. We can be set with that. If you're doing a Mount Rushmore of Baylor sports, for me, it's RG3, Michael Johnson, and this isn't including coaches, Mike Singletary, and Brittney Griner. Like, arguably a top 5 player ever to play in women's college basketball. The list of accomplishments she had here at Baylor was just stunning. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, 3-time Player of the Year, 3-time All-American, 2-time National Player of the Year, and the 40-0 team in 2012 that won the national championship. You don't have the mystique around Baylor women's basketball that we have today without Brittney Griner. You know, they already had a national championship. They had great players, Odyssey Sims and all them. And Kim Mulkey was already going to be a Hall of Fame coach, but this was the seismic shift. They got the best high school basketball player in the country, a phenom of which there aren't many, fortunately or unfortunately, in women's basketball, for better or for worse. There haven't been a lot of like real hyped high school phenoms. Brittney Griner was one of them, and she chose Baylor and made Baylor in a lot of ways into the program that we see them as today historically. And it's really sad that, and she didn't explicitly say this, but from all that we've heard over years, that she didn't really feel welcome back at Baylor. And I know there was a lot of animosity between her and her coach, Kim Mulkey. Obviously, Coach Mulkey telling her to keep certain things in Brittney's private life that Brittney really wanted to be upfront and open about and be herself about. And then, when Brittney is in the Russian prison, was that last year or 2022, her coach, Kim Mulkey, wouldn't say a thing about it. Whereas Nikki Collin, great representative of Baylor University, said from the beginning, no matter what the situation is, we love Brittney Griner and we want to welcome her back. And she's been saying as soon as she got here that number should be retired. And they basically talked about it in the release that it's just great that now it's the Foster Pavilion. It's this great new arena. They're lining up with the WNBA offseason. It's going to be such a special day on February 18th. I can't wait for it. I'm almost emotional talking about this, because for those of us who care so much about this place, to know that for years, one of your favorite daughters couldn't come here, didn't feel welcome here, when all you wanted to do as a Baylor fan was to pour love out on them, and now she will finally get that day, finally get that ceremony for us to just show how much love and appreciation we have for her, the person, and her, the basketball player, and her, the representative of Baylor University. So excited for this. I think they announced it's like the 6th or 7th retired number, which they they didn't really get right at the beginning. Remember, they were all in like by the bathroom at the Farrell Center, like Sophia Young's jersey is just like next to the water bubbler, whereas they really should have been hung from the rafters. And it sounds like that's what the case is going to be for this new one at the Foster Pavilion. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see this. Let's go to some of the comments here. Scotty B, about time. Part of it was degree requirement by Mulkey, and the relationship between the two strained, to say the least. You're right. Yes, and she didn't finish her degree at Baylor until 2019. So that makes me the second most famous communications graduate at Baylor in 2019. She's number one. I'll give her that. I'll secede that. And so that was part of it. There are still some schools that handle that or that do it like that, but so glad that we can finally do it. And I hope Kim is not invited. I hope she comes back for all the team reunions and stuff because she deserves it. But the relationship between those two, Baylor would be better off not even asking her and just not even asking Brittney and just not inviting her, not inviting Kim Mulkey. Freaking amazing, Brandon said. Purchase the ticket. How are the prices going, Brandon? Because I need to purchase a ticket. Please, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. Aiden says, does she have any eligibility left? Our men's team could use a leader. Not right now, Aiden. Not now. No, we're talking about Brittney here. We're not talking about the men's team, okay? Scotty B, I don't care what people say about Brittney Griner off the court. You can't deny what she has done and accomplished at Baylor. That's an important part of this because, and I've got to not get worked up over this because there will be people in the comments. There will be people who are inexplicably not going to go to the game because of not just some of one off the court incident that is as inconspicuous as you getting caught for jaywalking. I'll leave it at that. So Scotty B, I really hope, and I know, it's not going to be this way, but I hope that people can just put that aside, even if they think it's this horrible thing, and just appreciate her and, the way she carries herself and the way she has, or the thing she did for Baylor is truly incredible. Keith Glick, one of my absolute favorite listeners, rather see Sophia Young's jersey retired. So maybe I was wrong about that. Is her jersey not retired? This is the problem, Keith, is I don't even know because they don't hang them from the rafters. I thought I saw hers, but I could be wrong. You've been going to games a lot longer than I have, actually. So I'm going to defer to you on that one. Scotty B, speaking of track and field, I guess I said that somewhere. Former longtime director of track and field coach and coach Clyde Hart turns 90 this Saturday. This is a Brittney show, but I'm going to say a word for Clyde Hart, man. That is an awesome, awesome dude. And if we're talking Mount Rushmore of coaches at Baylor, he might be number one, like legitimately. What he meant to his sport. He made Baylor into quarter miler U, trained all sorts of Olympians that didn't go to Baylor. And when I was working local news here, he actually said yes to an interview like same day at his house, and he couldn't have been nicer. Super nice dude. So going to Samuel, thank goodness. Very happy to see that someone finally had the cojones to do the right thing and retire the jersey. Yeah, and that's something that's the gavel that Nikki Collin has been pounding since day one, since she's been here. And it's one of the things I really admire about her is she was just not she was not going to back down from that. She was not going to back down from how much she loved Brittney Griner, how much Brittney Griner meant to Baylor, and what she wanted for Brittney Griner's legacy at Baylor. And I don't know if it was an administrative thing. I would imagine that would come from the very, very top, because I know people will say what they can about these people, but knowing and having spoken to, albeit limitedly, people like Mac Rhodes and President Livingstone, they want this too. They want this too. Scotty B has the list for me. Thank you, Scotty B. Oh, I knew you could do this. Okay, so with Brittney Griner on there, the other ones are Odyssey Sims, Melissa Jones, Nina Davis, Susie Snyder-Eppers, Sheila Lambert, and Sophia Young. So, Keith, I'm sorry. We must have just missed it. It was by the bathroom. And Brittney's better than all those players. These are all great players. By the way, Nina Davis, obviously, terrific career. Not saying she shouldn't have her number retired, but that happened within the time frame Like she came after Brittney Griner. So glad to finally see Brittney up there. 2 of her teammates, by the way, are on there, right? If I'm getting this right, Odyssey Sims and Melissa Jones. So, Brandon says, a small part of me wants Kim to give it to her, like the jersey to get retired. And he says, I want them to make up. That's why. That would be great. That would be great. I hope it wouldn't be to force Brittney into an awkward situation of them, kind of burying the hatchet. Yeah, that would be fantastic if they could bury the hatchet and have this moment together. That would be really great. But I just don't want it to impede on Brittney at all. I hope she gets full say in how the ceremony goes. By the way, I'm going to read some of the quotes that came out from the release and people around Baylor, including Brittney Griner. Brittney says, I'm honored to return home and celebrate where so much of my journey started. I'm grateful to Coach Nikki and the entire Baylor community, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be back on campus, spend time with the team, and have my family beside me to share in this incredible moment. Sick 'em Bears. And this is like, I'm going to try here. This is like part of the moment. Like this is part of it that does kind of get me emotional a little bit, is just that she did not feel welcome to come back here, especially when her coach was still the coach. And that sucks, man, because I know so many of you are watching this realize it. And athletes have it just the same, if not even more. We love this place. We love this place. And she trusted Kim Mulkey and Baylor that this was going to be, at the time, the biggest decision of her life. And she turns into the best player that's ever played here. And I know she has so much love for Baylor. And whether fair or unfair, I think at times she just hasn't felt that back, and I can't wait till she goes in there and it's a packed house and we are able to show the love that we have for her. Because it's going to be raucous. It's going to be jumping. It's going to be a great crowd. It should be one of the longest standing ovations ever in Baylor basketball history. And so that's the part that kind of gets me, is like, I'm just so happy that she gets this moment. Not only that 42 is going to be up there forever, as it always should be, but that she will feel welcome back. And that's up to us as fans to show that she is absolutely welcome back here and encouraged to come back here. And we want to see her back here as much as possible. So that's the part that kind of gets to me, that I get a little welled up. Just really excited to have that. Baylor Director of Athletics, Mac Rhodes, quote, "We are excited to welcome Brittney back to Baylor and share this special day with her. There's no doubt she's one of the most decorated student athletes in Baylor athletics history, and we're thrilled the timing has worked out for all of us to celebrate and honor her. She always has been and always will be a significant member of the Baylor family." Hell yeah. Yeah, she is, man. That's awesome. By the way, the only player in NCAA history with 2,000 points and, what was it, 500 blocks? Is that it? Yes, 2,000 career points and 500 career blocks. Only one ever. She scored in double figures in 146 of her 148 games. That's insane. And I mentioned that earlier, the 3-time All-American, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, 3-time Player of the Year in the conference, and 2-time National Player of the Year. She was, what's the record? In her 4 years at Baylor, the Bears went 135-15. What? 2 Final Four appearances, 6 conference championships, 40 consecutive conference regular season wins to end her career, and a 40-0 season in 2012 with the national championship. That is incredible. That is just, you can't get a body of work as good as that. So thankful that this day has finally come, and will in a couple weeks here, just under 3 weeks. Get there, be loud, show your appreciation. She deserves 100% of it. And I know I'll be there. I don't care if I have to sneak in. I'm getting in that building. I can't wait. Anyway, let me know what you think about this announcement. Is it overdue? what you remember, some memories about Brittney Griner and her time here at Baylor and just what she means to this university. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to share some of the stories. We're going to have another episode about this week. I'm guessing Wednesday, because I'm going to try and get on it tomorrow. And we'll just talk about the impact and how special this day is going to be. Anyway, thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. Thank you for the extra listen today. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comments below, and we will see you tomorrow, where we're talking a lot of football, by the way, and some Brittney Griner. And then Wednesday, we'll hopefully get to talk a little bit more Brittney Griner and get someone on who can talk about her fantastic career. Thank you for tuning in. This is Locked On Baylor.